Do I sound nervous?
You deserve this new job. Jobs in Coral Grove, not easy to get, especially if you're 8. Enough to save up for that tuition.
I've got this, puppy.
Hurry up, let's go.
Take care of your sister.
I do take care of her.
Call me if you need anything.
People here are weird. Can't imagine what their kids are like.
Come on in, honeybee.
Hi, I'm Sasha.
I can tell you'll put our previous babysitter to shame.
Can we go to the park, Miss Sasha? My friend said the new slide is special. Miss Sasha. Miss Sasha, it's so dark in here.
All right, Felipe, once again, you're joining us. It seems like April is your month. We had you here just last year for the release of Rosario, which did really well. And now we have you here for the Hive. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back, and it's great to see you again. And you're right, it seems to always land on April. So hopefully next April brings another one too.
That's right. We're going to check it off on the calendar for 2027 just to see what you have coming next. But let's get right into it. You have the Hive, which is going to premiere on TUBI. I saw it just a couple of nights ago, and I really enjoyed it. It kicks right out the box from the very beginning, and it sort of carries you through a maze, so to speak, because that's where our characters sort of find themselves. Tell us a little bit about that story, because you seem to have a tendency to do movies that have a lot of layers and mythology, some of it based on reality, some of it sort of creative license. Give us a little background.
Yeah, so this film, it follows a first-time babysitter in this wealthy, gated suburb. She's trying to save up for college, and she ends up, losing the kid she's sitting in a playground, this maze, really, of a suburb. And she runs into that playground. She starts asking the other kids if they've seen the kid she lost. And she realizes there's no other parents, there's no other sitters, there's only kids. And there's more of them, and there's more of them. And she stops one in a panic. All the kids stop. They're this sort of hive mind, right? And what we realize is that there's this sort of entity among the children of this playground that lives inside the tube slide. And I won't spoil too much, but what you realize is that this creature targets the sitters and the maids and the nannies and the gardeners and the working class folks in this suburb, and that this girl, she might be next. And it's real time, and I really wanted to do something in the daytime, really subvert the usual horror aesthetic and set something that is colorful and poppy and a horror thriller under the sun in this suburban neighborhood, so similar to the one I grew up in and worked in when I was a teenager. So I'm very excited about the film, and it's, as you said, coming out April 17th on TUBI.
That's it. And, Xochitl Gomez, who plays the main character in the film, who's Sasha, who is the babysitter, gave really powerful performances from beginning to end. And she finds herself in this bind.
You have to leave this place. I can't. I'm her babysitter.
I don't feel so good.
I really think that there's something trying to hurt me.
One of the things that I noticed right away is that you tend to have very strong female leads. Obviously, these are women in various, in different epochs of their life. Sasha is a babysitter. Rosario was a Wall Street stockbroker.
Good. I hadn't made that connection, but it's definitely, I grew up around very strong Latinos. My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and I think that really shaped me and the characters that I'm drawn to.
How did you come up with the story? Where did the idea for the story come up?
In terms of the source of this one, my first jobs were as a babysitter, as a camp counselor, as a tutor. And you would go into these suburbs and you would work with these kids who, most of them were nice, but some of them were a little bit scary and intense. And especially in these gated communities that are, there's horse stables and there's golf clubs and there's these elaborate playgrounds. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a creature that was building these things and that lived inside this tube slide and was creating this perfect world. So it was a blend of all those things. And thinking, what if all these kids turned on you and were plotting something sinister in the playground?
The gardener lit the weeds.
That was the source of the premise. And it was something that I actually made a short film of first. In 2023, we made the short film version, which was just a scene. And from there, we were able to develop it into a feature.
It's very well done. And yeah, tell us a little bit of the cast, because you got a varied cast. You got, Aaron Dominguez, who plays Marco, who's the brother, the daughter, the mother. And then you have someone who sort of every time she was on screen blew me away, which is Zenobia Kloppers.
You have to leave this place. I can't. I'm her babysitter.
Who I looked up because I hadn't been familiar with her, but I also saw she's an emerging director in her own right. How did you put together this eclectic cast? Because they're fantastic.
Yeah, and thank you for calling out Zenobia. She was an incredible actress, Cape Town based, and she brought, I think, the heart and soul of the movie. With Sochi, I mean, she's just one of the most charming, passionate actors I've worked with, and she brings just this joy and this love for life and for her projects and for her friends and for the crew. And she was I think she was filming the movie when she was 19, but she brought such a professionalism too. Like, she dove into every scene meticulously, and we would sit down scene by scene together, rewriting, shaping it in her voice, and I think it made the film way better. So she's amazing. Aaron Dominguez just pours himself into these characters, and like, even in the rehearsals, he would just jump across the set, and he just really goes all in, and I think that you can tell in the film.
We're gonna get out of this, okay?
The young girl Victoria, this was her first movie ever. This was her first role in a film, and she killed it because she just brings an honesty in herself to the role. The mother, Tanya, too, is very well known in South Africa and did a great job. Mm-hmm.
Victoria played it really well. I didn't know this was the first time for her, because she plays it so much as a brat, an entitled brat, that I almost found myself trying to hit the screen and give her one of these Latino cocotazos, just to put her back in her place. But then you realize that there's a method to the madness of why she's acting this way. And it really carried throughout the whole film. You mentioned the colors earlier, and I that's one of the things that caught me, because it really did bring me into that world of it being hyper real, of it being based on the memories and the feelings of childhood, where everything seems hyper real and is all in your face. But yet it's set against this sort of community that's like so quiet and unpretentious, and it's the way it's set up in your movie. Really good production values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when it came to the aesthetic of the film, it was the production designer. I told him to look a lot at David Hockney's paintings, which are these very hyper-realist, colorful, poppy paintings, and selecting just a few colors that we see again and again and again, and become the colors of this creature, of this hive mind that is like Lovecraftian, and it's made of plastic. And
also, one of the things that I caught that I found interesting is you have a lot of children's chants throughout the film. 2 or 3 of them pop up throughout the film, and I looked some of them up, and they weren't anything that I could find as being sort of an original, at least in my search, an original sort of chant that's probably from our youth. How did you come up with those?
And when it came to the kids and their rhymes, they were original rhymes, but they're very inspired by, Ring Around the Rosie, like the classic things that you'll see kids playing, and then you'll look into the background of some of these songs and lullabies, and they tend to be kind of dark. Like Ring Around the Rosie is about, I think, a plague. So it was the idea of creating something that feels very innocent and playful, and distorting that into something like really warped and twisted and creepy.
Rosario came out in 2025, about this time, May, at the beginning of May, but we interviewed in April. And you're another film out, like a year later, less than a year later. When did this one start production?
It's a really good question. Actually, we premiered Rosario on a Friday, and I was on a plane on Saturday to South Africa to film this movie. Spent 3 months there shooting over the summer. And it was incredible. I mean, the people there were fantastic, and it was like a real joy, but it moved very, very quickly, for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think there's also, it gave the movie like an urgency and a momentum and an energy. When you're moving so fast, you just want the movie to move fast too.
Right. No, and it shows because it has a quiet storm just under the surface, even though the tensions are such that it's really playing with your mind, but you feel something tugging against your spine, which is really good. So what do you feel are the outstanding moments of the film that when you see the film, obviously it's not easy to kill babies, your favorite choices, but what do you look at the film in retrospect and saying maybe something happened on the set that really ended up becoming something that maybe struck you later as saying, wow, that all fell into each other, became something that's a little perfect.
Yeah, and something that we really wanted to do was create set pieces and kills in the most unexpected of places, in a ball pit, in a merry-go-round, in a playground. So that excited me a lot. And when it came to making the movie, yeah, it's like running a circus. I remember we had one night, overnight shoot, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That was so challenging and so rewarding because you have 40 kids running around in the rain, in haze, at night, it's cold, and they're doing backflips and they're crawling. This is kind of if you remember, there's a dark sort of underworld sequence where the playground becomes something much more sinister. And we have heavy prosthetics, we have actors hung up from chains. So it was just one of those nights where you look around and it's so hectic, but it's so energizing, and it just reminds you, like, you know, why you love making movies. And I think that set piece is one of the highlights for sure.
Yeah, I know that the rule of thumb that it's really difficult to work with children, but none of that shows on the film. It shows like a lot of cohesiveness. So that's a credit to you and how you guys wrangled working with the younger actors. And that's amazing. Tell us a little bit about the process of shooting the film with the cinematographer, bringing together the production design, because we get a lot of people that watch Latin horror who are also very connected to how films are made in the industry.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I think for us, I approached the cinematography and the production design kind of separately, where I thought the production design should be David Hockney. It should be very colorful. It should be very poppy. It should be really, really stringent on, you know, what colors we're using and textures we're using. Everything related to the creature was plastic and was shine and was false feeling. And everything in Sasha and Marco's world, who come from a working class neighborhood, who are, you know, who Marco, the brother, is a gardener, he has his truck, all of that is real, and it's textured, and it's earth tones, and it's muted. So that contrast was important to me. And the cinematography, though, I didn't want it to look so perfect. I wanted it to have this kind of relentless drive and long takes and energy. And we looked more at like European thrillers like Run Lola Run and Climax and Athena, and just giving it this proportion that felt a little at odds with the world.
Yep. Well, we're coming to the end of this, but I just wanted to tell you, thank you once again. You're going to become a Latin horror regular. I can't wait to see the reaction once the film premieres on TUBI. And we can't wait to have you back next year, hopefully around April again.
I actually did shoot another movie already that's in post right now, so hopefully can line up soon. We did it in the Dominican Republic, and I'm really excited about that one as well.
Thank you for joining us, and continued success. And you have a home here in Latin horror.
Thank you, Edwin. Take care. Have a good one.
Nos vemos. Peace.
Nos vemos.